So let's chew on this with Kellyanne Conway, former senior counselor to President Trump, now president of KA Consulting and a Fox News contributor. Kellyanne has tons of experience looking at presidential races and how all these candidates are stacking up over the course of the last several years. Kellyanne, great to see you.
Thank you, Martha,
for being here today. What stands out to you in those numbers at this point?
A few things. That if you are a Republican primary voter nationwide or in almost any of these early key states, Martha, all these legal woes for President Trump have given you an excuse, if not a reason, to shop around. And very few people are. And I think next week, with Brett and you moderating the debate, the challenge to each of those candidates on the stage who aren't named Donald Trump is twofold. The first, you've got to attack Donald Trump, take him on hammer and tong. But the second, you almost at the same time as a companion need to attract his voters. It's a nearly impossible task. I predict anybody not named Ron DeSantis on that debate stage is going to go after him. I think they're going to try to rough up DeSantis. He's shown a certain resiliency recently. He's also shown sort of an inability to get outside of Donald Trump. You know, the Trump plane flying above in Iowa, him being heckled by some Trump supporters when he shows up. But he's got a very good ground game in Iowa, Ron DeSantis. They're putting it all there. I think Chris Christie edging out now, getting some separation from the rest of the field in New Hampshire shows strength there. The curiosity for me is everything that another Republican primary candidate, not named Donald Trump, would want to say doesn't seem to be evidenced in these polls. Number one, you'd want to say, I'm the one who can beat Joe Biden. They all like to say that. Donald Trump is not electable. Well, according to Republican primary voters in the New York Times Siena poll, if not Fox News' poll, 58 to 28 say...
Yeah, put that up, guys.
Yeah, this is huge, actually, because the electability argument was the one that was supposed to favor all of the other candidates, particularly DeSantis. So it says 58% Trump, 28% DeSantis can beat Biden. So that's 2 to 1. The second thing you'd want to say is, there it is, I'm attracting small donors. I'm the grassroots favorite candidate. It turns out Donald Trump's contributions, 82% of them are $200 or less, 17% for Ron DeSantis. But DeSantis is playing big in Iowa, planting a big flag there, a big ground game, going to all 99 counties, has a ton of canvassers and a good ground game. You got people like Chris Christie, with the help of his governor friend Chris Sununu in the state, trying to win New Hampshire. South Carolina is fascinating to me because you have two South Carolinians in the race. Nikki Haley, the former governor, Tim Scott, the current senator. They're both at about 10 or 11% in the polls. Trump's beating them there too. But the key to South Carolina is this. Are you really going to try, if you're one of these candidates, how much are you going to try? How much money are you really going to spend there when it's winner take all? You can come in a strong second, the way Cruz did, or third, the way Marco Rubio did last time, and still lose every single delegate to the winner.
I'm so glad you pointed that out, because this is a game of accumulating delegates. So when you look at these national polls, when you look at some of these numbers, they don't matter. It's a state-by-state accumulation of delegates. There's some evidence that Ron DeSantis is gathering some delegates in Iowa, so we'll see what happens with that. You know, in terms of what happens and how they separate themselves, and I think you say it perfectly in terms of the rock and a hard place that they're in, because they want those so-called MAGA voters, and then they also want to gather some independent votes as well. But take a look at this from Vivek Ramaswamy, because there's a lot of buzz around this young candidate, and it's moments like these that I think people see, and it makes them at least interested. Watch this.
I was just wondering what your views on same-sex couples are.
I don't have a negative view of same-sex couples. I believe that we live in a country where free adults should be free to dress how they want, behave how they want, and that's fine. But you don't become oppressive by foisting that on others, and that especially includes kids, because kids aren't the same as adults. I respect that you may have a different opinion, and that's okay. Part of what makes our country great is that you and I can be civil and have this conversation.
What do you think?
It's a great way of answering the question, because it's the new way of answering that question. So I worked for Donald Trump, the first president in U.S. history, Martha, to come to the Oval Office already in favor of marriage equality, same-sex marriage. Not Barack Obama, not Bill Clinton. If you go back, and I've made my 4 teenage kids do it, go back and watch the clips of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton in 2008 in those primaries. They're practically yelling at each other as for whom is more in defense of traditional marriage. So this is relatively new. But the new part of the conversation that disturbs many people, regardless of their sexual orientation, is that you see people at the Pride Parade saying, we're coming for your kids. People don't like that. And I think Ron DeSantis did a marvelous thing in Florida when he said kindergarten through 3rd grade, basically 8-year-olds, should not be exposed to sexually explicit content. It's when he went from 8 years old to 18-year-old that he lost a lot of people. But when you talk about kids, I think that's a different kind of the conversation. But I personally agree with Vivek Ramaswamy. We don't oppose people based on their differentiated characteristics. That's what makes America so great. And I think she was waiting for a different kind of answer because those stereotypes have taken hold. Tell me exactly what Biden and Harris are doing for her and her community right now, as opposed to this very diverse group of candidates. You know what I love best for Brett and you and Fox News next week in that debate is that the diversity of the group of people that we already know is going to be before you. Indian American woman, Indian American man, African American man, perhaps a Hispanic man, blue state governor. It's just really incredible to say.
And that's an organic diversity. That diversity comes from who's getting attention, who's attracting donors, who people want to see on that stage. It's not a we need one of these and one of these, right? It's an organic diversity, which I think people that's what people really want to see. It's an honest, diverse group. Thank you, Kellyanne.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.